enticing playoff matchups in years. Nathan Rourke versus Vernon Adams Jr. with the Rough Riders waiting in Saskatchewan for the winner. Fans are ready. We are ready for the Western semi-final. Rosa England of Surrey, BC. This is your chance to win big. Thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could also win $1 million. Rod Smith and Glenn Suter after the break.
We welcome you to BC Place in Vancouver, which has seen a lot of CFL postseason football in recent years. Certainly a lot of these two teams. Third time in 4 years. It's the Stampeders and the Lions in the West semifinal. Now, 3 years ago, BC's winning quarterback Glenn Suter was Nathan Rourke. The next year, their winning quarterback was Vernon Adams Jr., and now they stand in each other's way.
That game 2 years ago for Vernon Adams was his best as a pro in the Canadian Football League. VA gets one more shot at his old club. He has led the Stamps on a 3-game win streak to end the regular season and head into this semifinal. Nathan Rourke has had an MOP season, and in fact is a finalist for that award. He is the first and only Canadian to throw for over 5,000 yards in a single season.
It is Buck Pierce's first playoff game as a head coach. He first arrived here 20 years ago as a player, where one of his early mentors was the man he faces today. Dave Dickinson has Calgary back in the playoffs after missing out last year, and now he'll be looking for his first postseason victory since 2018. Robert Carter Jr. What a season he's had. In his rookie year with BC and Seven McGee, their return specialist. The Lions won the toss. They want the ball. It's playoff time in BC. The winner goes to Mosaic Stadium in Regina next week for the Western Final against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Who will it be? About to find out now off the foot of Rene Paredes. We're underway in Vancouver. And it is Seven McGee. He'll take it down to the line 15. Across the 30. 35. He's got a big break going. A last little move, and he keeps his feet. Finally taken down at the Calgary 40. How about that start for Seven McGee and the BC Lions? A 55-yard return.
Yeah, you want to get your fans going early on in the game. How about this? Great field position for Nathan Rourke in their first offensive series after taking the ball and opening this game with a big return. Seven McGee gets it started.
And Rourke comes on, second in the CFL in passing yards, just 6 yards shy of Bo Levi Mitchell to lead the way. What a year he's had for BC, and a great place to start. It's James Butler, keeps his feet, breaks a tackle, but ends up being pushed back further. Butler was questionable because of an ankle injury coming into this week.
Well, there's the Western representative for MOP and Outstanding Canadian. Nathan Rourke throwing for over 5,000 yards this year, 31 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. This offense has been the most productive offense in the Canadian Football League this year.
And it's his first playoff start since the West Final in 2022 in Winnipeg. Adams started for BC last year. After the loss and a pass to Keon Hatcher, the leading receiver in the CFL, has the catch, but it is shy of a first down. They will be short after a 2-yard loss in that previous play on James Butler, and he got 10 but needed 12 yards.
Say how close. That's what Buck Pierce wants to look at, is how close, and is it close enough to go ahead and go for it on third down, but I don't think he is. He's going to take the points.
Well, he is one of the greatest kickers in the history of the league, and Sean White only missed twice in the regular season. He was 39 of 41, and this one would be put down right around just inside the 40 for Sean White, who turned 40 years of age earlier this fall, back in October. Out and down and kicked. Expect nothing less from Sean White as the Lions, after a great special teams play to start this game on the return by Seven McGee, get one there from Sean White, and that field goal that puts the Lions on top. There he is. Vernon Adams Jr., as mentioned, led BC to a playoff win. That great game you talked about a couple of years ago.
Yeah, over 400 yards passing in that game. 2 touchdowns, did not throw an interception. And by his his own admission when we talked to him this week, said was my best game as a pro. Now I've got to duplicate it in this one this afternoon.
He was 28 of 39 that day for 413 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Still hasn't beaten the BC Lions. Dedrick Mills, CFL's leading rusher, moves off to the left, picks up about 3 yards. A flag coming out with Mills going down. What a year he's had. Still sorting it out. Referee Tom Valesi as we await the announcement. Like Buck Pierce is looking for clarification as well after that carry by Dedrick Mills. And it's against Calgary. You see the decision is made to push them back.
Major foul, face mask. Calgary number 60. Penalty is applied after the play. It'll be second down.
That's the veteran left tackle, Deontay Demery, who got flagged on that running play.
Deontay Demery, the left tackle, on the running play to get things started for Calgary's offense. Working one-on-one on Levi Bell. A little bit of holding right at the point of attack.
2nd and 21 now. Faking the handoff. And then off for Mills, who can't find the handle on that with Josh Woods bearing down. Incomplete. And the Stampeders will be forced to kick it away.
Say that the holding would have been down over, so it was the face mask that was called, and I didn't catch it, but clearly on the opposite side is where the ref was located. Saw a face mask on that. So
after the play.
Yeah, after the play.
And the 15 yards back. So
that was the clarification that Buck Pierce wanted to get from the officials. Is it down over if we take the penalty, or do they tack it on?
CFL's leader in net punting yardage is Mark Vassett, the Australian. To punt this one away with Seven McGee, who's had a chance to catch his breath after that big return to start the game, a 46-yard punt, and not going as far this time around. As down he goes. Nathan Rourke, short field to work with, left them with a field goal try. Back on the field now, trying to lead the BC Lions back to the Western Final. A look at the BC Lions' road to the playoffs. Bear in mind, at one point they were 5-7 after a loss to Ottawa, and they have not lost since. 11-7, second in the West, and that's thanks to their victories, winning the season series against the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, started the season a little shaky for Western opponents. Only won one of those games out of the gate, but on a 6-game winning streak right now.
BC football, second possession from their 42. Nathan Rourke escapes the pack, takes off from the pocket as it collapsed, and we've seen this many times. Nathan Rourke, the runner, has an average of 9.2 yards a carry.
Well, the leading rusher in the league, not a tailback, quarterback leader in rushing the football with over 500 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. A handful of them against Calgary.
Yeah, he had a big one at McMahon Stadium in Week 16. Took a little hit there, too, after going down. And that's the question about Nathan Rourke running. That's the flip side to it, is the risks. But Buck Pierce likes his running game, too. And there's a run by Xander Horvath, another guy who has had good success against the Stampeders in a limited number of carries at over 100 yards, well over 100, and a touchdown at McMahon in Week 16. But nothing there. Not enough anyway. And BC will have to punt it away.
Yeah, both these defenses are going to be keyed on stopping the run, especially the RPO type of play from Nathan Rourke and James Butler or Horvath. And certainly against the leading rusher, if you're the BCD, you're looking to try and contain Mills.
Carl Meyer is the punter for the Lions. First punt of the afternoon. Eric Brooks for Calgary inside his 15 after a 47-yard punt. He goes to the right. He finds a bit of space before he is pushed out of bounds. The West semifinal. Vernon Adams Jr. against his old Possession number 2 for Calgary. Down 3. The best team in the first third of the season with the Calgary Stampeders. They had a 5-1 start, and then they really cooled off with 4 straight losses, but did finish strong, Suits, winning their final 3.
Yeah, I came out of the gate 5-1. I mean, just looked like the best team in the league. Their defense was ranked second for most of the first half of the season. Dropped a little in that 4-game losing streak, but 3-game winning streak to get it going.
Off to Mills again. Takes that pass, and here he goes for a first down. Dedrick Mills. A reception that time, but still another good pickup after the catch. 12-yard gain.
So we will watch William Barnes out of North Carolina, 6'4", 339 pounds, playing that right tackle spot for Josh Coker. His first game in Canadian football. He'll be up against Matthew Betts. You can bet on it a bunch in this one. And there is the leading rusher in the Canadian Football League this year, Dedrick Mills.
Barnes matched up with Betts on this play and a first down. Just shy of the 35. And off to the right. It's caught again, this time by Eric Brooks. And Brooks gets it up to around the 41. Good pickup on first down at 6 yards for Calgary.
So William Barnes is going to see a little bit of Matthew Betts. You can bet on that. He led the league in sacks with 15 on the season and a finalist for outstanding defensive player. And if you look back in the linebacking core, there is your leader in tackles in the CFL. And Micah Awe, over 100 tackles, 114 on the season. And this team has been a better defense, better team, all in with TJ Lee back in the lineup. They haven't lost since his return.
Second down and 4. Taking the handoff to Mills. Short pass. It is caught right around the 45, right around the first down marker for Jalen Philpott, whose twin brother Tyson had a pretty decent day today in Montreal.
Yes, he did. Congratulations to the Alouettes. They'll be heading to the final in Hamilton, and this is just Vernon Adams. I know it's a short little over-the-middle first down throw, but had to really adjust the arm angle to get it to Philpott.
So Stampeders on the move now. Another first down. They're up at the Calgary 45. Adams has lots of time. Taking a deep shot. Down the left for Dominic Grimes, another former BC Lion, had his best career year with the Lions back in 2022, but incomplete.
Well, he's in the slot in the trips formation. He's that third receiver to the sideline, and he gets matched up on Deontay Williams, who's going to trail him, stay on that outside shade, so that ball has to be thrown over the high shoulder of Dom Rhymes. VA knows he just missed it.
2022, Rhymes had 85 catches for over 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns. The second and 10 now. Stampeders trailing by 3, first quarter. Adams runs out of the pocket. Betts chasing him, and he has to throw that one away. Looked like he was able to escape the rush, but then Matthew Betts was bearing down, and just like that now, the Stampeders will have to punt.
See that left side pressure. First of all, a bull rush so that Vernon Adams couldn't escape upwards into the pocket, and then he ran right into Betts' lane. Boy, what a back half of the season.
Did he ever?
He has had.
He had a 4-game stretch with 10 of his 15 sacks.
Unreal.
That's just crazy numbers, including 4 in a game against the Ottawa Red Blacks. Another punt by Bassett, back for 7. McGee inside the BC 15. Takes it around the 11, a 54-yard kick. And that return by McGee gets it up and around the 20. Matthew Betts. Think he's going to get him. He came awfully close. More pressure from Betts.
Just like I should, I'll get you good.
The greatest breakout passing seasons in the history of the BC Lions. Doug Flutie set the standard. Nathan Rourke third, and not too far behind the opposing head coach today.
Yeah, Dave Dickinson and Doug Flutie in that season in 91. 6 games that year went to overtime.
Yeah.
Different format than this year, so those yards were added. Dave Dickinson second on that list. 2 overtime games for him that year.
Later ended up winning a Grey Cup with BC, Dave Dickinson. So before the snap of the ball, the flags do come out, with the Lions starting deep in his zone.
Procedure, BC number 69. Half distance to the goal. Remains first down.
That's their divisional all-star and team nominee for outstanding lineman, Jarrell Broxton, who just got the procedure call. No Dejon Allen at right tackle, so they're going to move Chris Slugger out to that spot. He's played a handful of games at tackle, and there's your leading receiver in the Canadian Football League this year, Keon Hatcher.
And they're pushed back 5 yards further. Stampeders really flipped the field last possession. A few first downs, the punt, and a penalty to push BC back. So just outside the shadow of the Lions goal line.
Yeah, I would have called that for Calgary a successful offensive drive, because they've got all that field position issue back. Now Nathan Rourke, it's on him to try and get his team out of this hole.
Well, they had a clock issue straightened out, just under 7 minutes to go until first quarter time. The Lions with a 3-0 lead. Nathan Rourke and company starting deep in their zone. He's standing in there now, steps up, and he completes that one too. And that is caught by Aiden Eberhard, who had a big one to start in Saskatchewan last week. 70-yarder that went for a touchdown.
Team nominee for outstanding defensive player for the Stamps, Clarence Hicks. 12 quarterback sacks on the season. We'll watch him. I'm waiting for him to do some spy technique against Nathan Rourke. There's Derek Moncrief in the linebacking core, has been sort of a catalyst, just like TJ Lee, for the Lions on defense. And what a season for Adrian Green out there on the wide side corner. 6 interceptions on the season.
And quickly over the ball, and it's James Butler, the ball carrier, who gets it to the 18 and a 3-yard pickup.
Real commitment to the run, especially in this down and distance for the Calgary defense. Kel Lee right near the line of scrimmage. Jacob Roberts as well. They even brought the safety, Bailey Devine Scott, down into the box. But just got it.
Just enough for the first down, just shy of their 20. A little room to breathe now in this first down play. Play action pass coming. Rourke. Deeper look. Down the left. Coverage is there. Intended for Justin McInnes, who wants the PI call. And it's Jaden Grant involved in the coverage there for Calgary.
Well, you know, when you look at these matchups and the different positional matchups, the receiving core for BC versus this secondary for the Calgary Stampeders is going to be an interesting one. They have 3 rookies. Now, they played the season, but 3 rookies back there, including when you look at Bailey Devine Scott at safety. That was Damon Webb's position for most of the season. Got their hands full against this receiving core.
2nd and 10 now. Rourke under pressure. They've got him. They sacked Nathan Rourke. Jalen Hutchings in there. Miles Brown got it started. And that Calgary defensive front, they want to get some heat on number 12 without having to blitz very often. They certainly did. What a year by Hutchings.
Yeah, Miles Brown is right in the inside and the interior, and he's going to work his way up the field and then gets flushed right between, almost like there was some indecision between Couture and Woodruff on the offensive line, and Miles Brown just split the two of them.
Miles Brown used to play for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, coming over to Calgary, adding some veteran presence on that D line. And the punt out of the end zone for Meyer, a 50-yarder. Eric Brooks trying to work it right up to midfield, just a yard shy, so the best place to start for the Calgary Stampeders. Little early celebration. Miles Brown after the sack of Nathan Rourke. Vernon Adams calls it his greatest CFL game 2 years ago in this matchup against Calgary that time. 28-39, 413 yards, 2 touchdown passes, no picks for the BC Lions. That's a big part of the storyline as we head down and say hello to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Rod, but the last time VA played the Lions as a member of the Stampeders this season, and things didn't go as well. And VA got rattled because of some early mishaps. He had a couple of interceptions in the first game, 4 sacks in the first half of the second game. And he did get rattled, and when he got to the sideline, he got very quiet. And that's not what his teammates want because they feed off his energy. So the team's mental strength coach, Matt Brown, told him, when you're outwardly vocal, you're inwardly quiet. When you're outwardly quiet, inwardly, you hear everything, including all the noise. So stay vocal, stay engaged. That's what your teammates need.
And it certainly looks like his confidence has returned, Farhan, after those struggles against his old team. Third meeting against them this year, and the biggest. The draw to Dedrick Mills. And a good carry, his best carry, and the best place to start on the field for the Stampeders in this game.
Yeah, you know, I would say that he's got his game back. You know, and when he gets those arms warming up and he starts visualizing and he is very vocal with his teammates. He's a great leader. We've talked about that at length throughout the last few years. He does that, his team feeds off it. And he's a wide receiver right now in short yardage.
Quincy Vaughn in for the short yardage. They only needed about a foot, and Vaughn easily gets that, lunging the big body over around the 45 of BC.
And then you look at the last 3 games, and this is what I mean about having his game back, is games against Hamilton, Toronto, and Edmonton. Put up 37, 44, and 20 points in those games and did not turn the ball over once. As far as that interception, that play that gets him in his own head, as Farhan mentioned. And the good start, that last series got them the field position back. Now they got a chance to put some points on the board.
Heading down to 3 minutes to go until quarter time. Just 3 points on the board. That was early for BC after a big return in the opening kickoff. There is Dedrick Mills. And Mills in his 3rd year out of Nebraska, and clearly his best in the Canadian Football League, winning the rushing title with 1,409 yards.
Team nominee for most outstanding player, and deservedly so. Divisional all-star, and all you see is first place finishes in all of those key categories for the running back position. 10-plus runs, 100-yard games, tied for first at yards per game. They're going to give 26 the ball.
And VA will say it too. That'll help a quarterback's confidence when you can run the football the way that Calgary has. 2nd and 6 now. Adams escaping the rush at first, but then he is taken down. It's Levi Bell. Become a big part of the BC defense up front. Picks up a sack, taking Adams down. 3rd down coming up.
And he's limping, heading to the sideline. That's hopefully Vernon Adams can walk off whatever the issue is there, but Levi Bell is up the field from the defensive end spot, and then a redirect to fold underneath and seal away that interior rush lane, because Vernon Adams thought he had something to take off and run here, and Bell closed the door.
Another veteran kicker, Rene Paredes, made 82.4 in the regular season. That one 50 yards out, and we have a tie game. Calgary close enough to put some points on the board, and you see the limping of Vernon Adams there, trying to escape the rush and then sacked by Levi Bell.
He hasn't really talked to the training staff. He's just clearly limping, though. Let's take a look one more time at the hit. It didn't look like there was anything, you know, well, maybe a little bit of a hip pointer with Levi Bell hitting him right in that hip where there's no padding.
Let's go, 2-1.
You and I were working the game against Toronto in Calgary a couple of weeks ago when they were blowing out the Argos, and he was limping a bit off the field then. Not suggesting anything is related to that, but that was certainly a concern. Keep an eye on it. Oh, and that one had the eye on the ball there, but just a little bit shy for the #1 target for Nathan Rourke, Keon Hatcher.
Real discipline, 4-man pressure for Calgary early in this game, which is exactly what Dave Dickinson was hoping for. That's why he dressed extra defensive linemen, including Lorenzo Malden, who is dressed and going opposite of Clarence Hicks. It's making it difficult for Nathan Rourke right now, throwing from the pocket.
Nathan Rourke 2 for 4 so far in this game. Final minute, first quarter. 3-3 tie. That's it so far. Defense has been ruling. Rourke sets up, and he completes a short one to Stanley Berryhill. His first catch of the afternoon. It is not enough there. A gain of 7 yards. The third down coming up here. Getting close to quarter time.
Boy, that punt team, that's the second time that it's been slow to enter the field, with Buck Pierce almost looking like he's tempted to go for it on third, and it's about 3 yards now.
Good job, D. Good job, D.
Adams staying engaged. Appears to be fine on that Stampeders sideline, with Calgary about to get the ball back. Eric Brooks back, standing at about the 17 for Carl Meyer. The South African Meyer off to the right, and a well-placed punt. Doesn't leave Brooks a lot of room, but he sneaks through anyway. Not bad for Eric Brooks to get something out of that after a 45-yard punt. And across the 30 for Vernon Adams Jr. and the Calgary Stampeders at the end of the first quarter. They'll switch ends. Started quickly. Big return, setting up BC for a field goal. The Stamps have just answered back. 3-3 the score. Winner goes to Saskatchewan next week. Through one quarter of the West semifinal, it's a 3-3 tie with the Stamps and Lion suits. The most explosive play was the very first one, and that big return, 55 yards by Seven McGee.
Yeah, on the special teams. Multi's offense has been contained. It's been a defensive struggle so far in this game, but I will say that in the last 2 games of the regular season for the Lions, their offense got off to a slow start in both of those games. First halves that they didn't really get a lot of traction, and then in the second half really exploded. So, you know, tip your hat to the defenses for both teams in that first quarter.
You were saying off mic, it's kind of like a big boxing match, but these fighters are feeling each other out a little bit.
Yeah, kind of walking around the ring looking at each other right now.
1 quarter's in the books, and it's a tie game, and it's Calgary football starting at the 31 for Vernon Adams Jr. His 5th playoff start, faking that one, rolling to the right. Looked like he'd have a completion, but no, Tevin Jones a bit behind him, but hits the hands and then hits the turf, incomplete.
Well, Gary Peters turned and talked to one of his teammates about some sort of coverage breakdown here, because Tevin Jones is open on this crosser. VA creates a little bit more time with his movement in the pocket, negotiating the pocket, and then a little bit behind Jones, but he should have had it. Gary Peters went right to TJ Lee and the rest of his teammates. They had a bust back there.
Veteran presence of Peters and Lee in the boundary side of the secondary for BC. 2nd and 10.
Come.
Here we go, swinging it out. Jalen Philpott, yards after the catch, and enough of them for a first down as Ronald Kent Jr. and Deontay Williams finally force him out of bounds. But yeah, the heat was coming, and Adams got rid of it quickly.
Yeah, TJ Lee's coming from the secondary on this blitz, and it's the perfect call offensively for this pressure. So the pressure's coming off the edge. There's the pressure coming off the edge, and it's a quick bubble screen out to Philpott.
Gets it up to the Stamps 46. Diedrich Mills breaks through. Mills gets to midfield before he's taken down, and 26 is starting to really heat up now for Calgary. 9 more yards.
Well, a great call on the bubble screen against the blitz. So you're sending blitz, you know you got man, you got Philpott the ball quickly, allow him to go get some yards on his own, and then get right back to that running game with Diedrich Mills.
He now has 4 carries for 26 yards. Short yardage again for Quincy Vaughn. Needed about a yard. And looks like he's got it, very close to it. There's Pat Delmonico, the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. Been around for several years with the Stampeders and their coaching staff.
More attempts running the ball to your tailback than any team in the league. Whether they're down in the scoreboard or have a lead. Certainly if you have a lead, you're going to go to your run game more, but doesn't matter for Calgary, not this season. 250 carries in the regular season for Dedrick Mills, so they were very consistent with that run game all season long.
Barely got it by the nose of the ball. It is a first down, indicated there by the referee Tom Valesi for Quincy Vaughn, the rookie, one of the draft picks of the Stampeders, and taking on that role of short yardage with VA coming back on now, just across midfield.
Good run game will also help that young tackle in William Barnes get settled in.
Fifth first down for Calgary. Third numbering BC 5-1 in that department. Back to Mills. Just puts his head down and sees what he can get. Plowing through for a couple more yards for Dedrick Mills. At most, be a second and long still ahead here.
Yeah, Dave Dickinson was hit with a couple of injuries in the same position, with Josh Coker going down and then Preston Nichols to also not be available due to an ankle injury. So William Barnes in his very first start at right tackle. Haven't noticed him yet after a quarter, which is a good thing for a tackle or a DB. When you're not talking about
Don't want to get
you're
noticed.
playing well, yeah.
Only a yard there for Mills. 2nd and 9. Adams. The Calgary 53. Four-man rush.
Whoa.
Good coverage coming in. Nearly intercepted. That's Jackson Finley. And what a stint he's had since taking over at safety. 4 games, 4 interceptions, 1 each game.
Yeah, 1 in every game that he started in those last 4, and he reads this dig route coming across from Philpott and jumps it. Philpott may have got his hand in there to knock it out of Jackson Finley's hands, and plays DB a little bit, but that's a great read by Finley to jump that crossing route. A deep dig, it was all over it.
You're really impressed with that rookie from Western, Jackson Finley. And Mark Bassett standing back to get up to the line. Another punt. Seven McGee backpedaling. Well, it hit just inside the goal line for Bassett. It's a 54-yarder and just enough to put a point on the board for the Stampeders.
It's a good decision. Let it go in.
By Seven McGee. Vancouver, BC. And another Western semifinal against Calgary. Back here at BC Place, Rod Smith, Glenn Suter, Farhan Lalji. West semifinal. Winner goes to Saskatchewan next week for the West final. It's close. Punch single by Mark Bassett, and Calgary has its first lead of this game. 4-3 with Rourke and the Lions starting from their 40. Back to throw again, Nathan Rourke. And it's caught. His biggest passing play is Justin McInnes. All the way down close to the Stampeder 40 as the Lions finally get something going on offense. A gain of 24.
There's his #1 target. He's got lots of time in the pocket. First time really in this game that has happened for Nathan Rourke to wait for McInnes to get out there. Shouldn't say #1 target. His #1 target was Keon Hatcher.
But he's up there, though.
But he's right beside him as far as numbers go, yeah.
He led the CFL in receiving yards last year, 3rd this year. Lions with 2 of the top 3. The throw again. If he can get away. No, he can't. They got him again. Jalen Hutchings. He was in on the last sack. And he gets one himself there. A big loss by BC back near the Calgary 50.
Boy, what a start to the season for Jalen Hutchings. One of the reasons that the Calgary Stampeders started so strong and were ranked 1 or 2 defensively in the first half of the season was because of the play at 96. He was just creating havoc in opposing offenses through the middle.
Big, strong tackle on the inside of that Calgary defensive line in his 2nd year out of Texas Tech, Jalen Hutchings. 2nd and 17. More pressure on Rourke, and down he goes for a 3rd time in this game, and a flag comes out. Justin Sambu getting in on the act as well for Calgary.
Illegal contact. Calgary #38. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Far away from the play, Sheldon Arnold is called for the illegal contact.
That's the intended target, I believe, and there's the... Looks like they got their feet tangled more than anything from Sheldon Arnold. Missed 6 games due to injury. This is his first game back. Rookie halfback in Central Florida.
So they get 10 yards on that penalty. Still second down, but now a more manageable 2nd and 7 at the 38 of the Stampeders. Nathan Rourke. More pressure coming, but the Lions pick it up. And he completes it too. First down out of bounds, and another one to Justin McInnis.
Yeah, divisional all-star Justin McInnis, you mentioned, just second to Keon Hatcher in receiving numbers, and you see him just work that deep out, and if Nathan Rourke has time to throw it, that's a tough one to cover.
Rolling to the right, more heat coming in with Bailey Devine Scott. He got away from that, but ultimately he works his way down to the 20, so Nathan Rourke does pick up a few yards on that play, but there's been a lot of pressure in this game so far from Calgary's defense.
Devine Scott, the safety, last 4 games due to the injury of Damon Webb, who was a divisional all-star, didn't finish the season. What a great play he had in that Edmonton game that Calgary really wanted and needed to win, and to keep their hopes alive for home field in this playoff game when he poked the ball into the hands of Rankin.
So just inside the 20 for the first time is BC. 2nd down and 7. It is caught inside the 10. And a first down for the Lions. It's Keon Hatcher. Top receiver in the Canadian Football League. We got a 1st and goal coming up here.
Yeah, and Nathan Rourke had to put some pepper on this. I mean, he had to let this go and hit Keon Hatcher coming in, because coming downhill was Adrian Green.
They work quickly. James Butler. Wrapped up there by Jacob Roberts, who ends up getting some help from Devine Scott and Jaden Grant to limit anything from Butler, but there is a flag out in the field.
Looks like it may be a face mask. It's see by the way that Butler reacted. Well, maybe it's going against the Lions.
And now we see Tom Valesi signaling holding against the Lions.
Holding. BC number 86. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Javon Katoy gets called for the hold. That pushes him back. Still inside the 20, back at the 18 now.
Yeah, Clarence Hicks was making an inside move there on Katoy right here, and Hicks comes inside and he cuts him off. There's number 12. You see the left hand around the front numbers. Butler indicated that there was a face mask on that.
8th play of the drive. Caught inside the 5. Hatcher working it right back down. They get a little bit closer now. 16 yards, 2nd and goal.
That's 2 throws from Nathan Rourke that he has really had to fit it into a tight window here to get a completion. You see the linebacker underneath, coverage over the top from Anthony Johnson, and he hits Hatcher in stride.
And Jeremiah Masoli has come in at quarterback in place of Nathan Rourke for the Lions in this short yardage play. The ball is down at the Calgary 2. Lions close to taking this lead back. Masoli on the 2nd and goal. He keeps it, and he won't get it. They had him stuffed up, and a flag is out, however, right with the snap of the football. Right along the line.
It's almost too far for quarterback sneak when you're
Offside. Calgary number 97.
That'll be half the
distance to
distance.
the goal. Be a first down.
Sambu flag for that. 1st and goal, BC now right at the Calgary 1.
There's the inside the neutral zone hand on the ground. It's almost too far for quarterback sneak unless you're going to do it 3 times in a row.
Well, they just got closer now, and Masoli stays in now at the 1. Got a few cracks at this. Looked like the ball had come out for a second, but into the end zone he goes. Breaks the plane, and the first touchdown of this game goes to the BC Lions.
It almost looked like he fumbled it and then recovered it himself in time to continue to push forward. Take a look from above to see if Jeremiah Masoli drops it. Boy, by his body language there, it sure looked like he was at least trying to gather it up. He did drop it.
It got bobbled, and alert by Mazzoli to be able to still make the play and get into the end zone.
Wow, he caught it before it hit the. Looks like before it hit the turf. Yeah, I got it. I got the snap. We got it done.
That could have turned out a little differently for BC.
Isn't exactly pretty, but it happened.
No. But they count. The point after 2 after a 10-play, 70-yard drive, and nearly 6 minutes off the clock. Couple of penalties helping out the Lions, and that as well. Ultimately, Jeremiah Masoli with a playoff touchdown, 10-4 BC.
Welcome back to the West semifinal. 10-play drive by Nathan Rourke, and this BC offense covered 70 yards. 4 minutes and 46 seconds. Justin McInnes getting involved. They started moving the pocket for Nathan Rourke. A nice scramble here. It was penalty aided. An illegal contact call after a sack on Sheldon Arnold. Gave Rourke one more snap there. He got the first down, and then an offside gave Jeremiah Masoli a second chance at the goal line.
And the Lions lead again. 10-4 is the score. Eric Brooks on the return. 35 up near the 40 for Vernon Adams. 25-yard return for Brooks. Adams 4 for 9 for 37 yards. Here in beautiful Vancouver. Second quarter. Back at BC Place, Matthew Betts, the CFL sacks leader, and just a sample here of his work. He really caught fire late in the season, too.
Well, yeah, and Mike Benavides, the defensive coordinator, will move him around. There you saw him off the edge. Now he's in the A-gap on this play against Vernon Adams in the regular season. Then they'll play him to the wide side on the top of the line as well, coming into that 4-point stance. 15 sacks on the season for Matthew Betts. That led all defensive linemen. And I can guarantee you they're going to try to match him up on William Barnes at some point.
Then inside, it's Eric Brooks. Takes that little toss on the sweep and gets it up near a first down for Calgary up to the 49.
15 sacks, Defensive Player of the Year nominee, Divisional All-Star. There you've got 2 of the 3 in this semifinal.
Just 2 years ago, Defensive Player of the Year, Matthew Betts. I mentioned before that 4-game stretch where he had 10 of them really came on late in the season. As did BC's defense, steadily better this season towards the end, part of a 6-game winning streak. The tackle there on Dedrick Mills coming in as Levi Bell.
That may not look like a lot for Dedrick Mills, but that second effort just gave Vernon Adams a 2nd and 5 instead of a 2nd and 12. First contact on Mills there was made in the backfield, but he kept twisting and fighting, and it ended up getting 4.5, 5 yards here. Give Vernon Adams a much bigger playbook to work with.
So we'll call it 4 and a 2nd and 6, but to your point, better shape for VA and the Calgary offense because of that second effort. Faking to him, throwing, caught the first down. Clark Burns takes a hit, and he just keeps going, working it down close to the BC 30 for Clark Burns out of 12 in his 3rd year in his first catch.
Yeah, they've got Philpott in the backfield, Calgary does, to give the defensive line and linebackers just one more thing to think about with. Dedrick Mills pushing the flat. He's an option, was covered, so Vernon Adams just used him as a decoy and went to Barnes over the middle.
Down to the 32, BC. Here comes Calgary now. They're down by 6. Getting late in the first half. Pressure coming. Adams gets it away, and it's caught. Tevin Jones has his first catch on his 2nd target as they work their way down a little bit closer here in the BC zone.
Boy, Tevin Jones was getting an earful from his quarterback after this throw. He makes the catch, turns the corner. Looks like it was a well-executed play, but right after it, Vernon Adams went over to have a few words with number 4.
Just shy of a first down. Quinn Yancey Vaughn, short yardage again. Calgary, right side, easily pushes his way through for about 3 more yards. So the sticks will move for the Stampeders. Responding well after that BC touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. A little sense of urgency after the BC drive and touchdown. Covered 70 yards, finished with the major. Vernon Adams, who's been in this position before in the playoffs, understand that sense of urgency. You got to come back with an answer.
Knowing how important the first half is to, in their first meeting back in week 16 in Calgary, Lions opened up a 21-0 lead, one going away. Back here a couple of weeks later at BC Place, it was 31-9 to start the fourth quarter before Calgary finally got it going. Looking to get into the end zone, it's knocked away. Adams throwing it, batted down in the hands of Micah Awe now, but it was Deontay Williams coming in, getting the arms up on Adams.
Micah Awe and Deontay Williams are both going to come on the blitz here, and they're both looks like they're coming through the same gap. I believe it was Williams who does get his hand on the throw. Yes, it is, but Awe ate up the block. So one linebacker eats the block on the Canu there, and then one gets through with Dedrick Mills trying to pick him up. Time's up to jump nicely.
And it was Josh Woods from the backside coming in on Adams and hitting him right as he got rid of the football. Down inside the 20. Here we go. Adams. Running out of time. They've got him. They got Vernon Adams. They've sacked him back outside the 25. And a big loss and a field goal situation coming up now with Rene Paredes coming out.
Yeah, Jonah Tavai, just 3-man pressure. They're going to show 4, but they're only coming with 3-man pressure. So Vernon Adams then is looking at this saying, okay, I've got to find a tight window. I got to find a window with one receiver. He can't find it, and they just keep working. Those 3 guys against 5 up front get it done.
So Paredes 1 for 1 from the 40. And we'll try to get Calgary a little bit closer now to within a field goal. Late here in the first half. Under 3 minutes to go. And perfect for the veteran Paredes.
Still an answer, though. 3 points. That's important 3 points.
They worked their way down the field after the BC touchdown. They end up with a field goal. Levi Bell. One of those Lions getting a lot of heat at Adams today.
Panel break it all down at the half. Wow, that is quite the shot of Lapo right now. We've got good bad VA. We've got the pressure from BC's defense and a little segment we like to call Straight Fire. See it happen.
Kate, the panel coming up, halftime and day 1 of the playoffs in the Canadian Football League. What a great time of year. Division finals next week and off to Winnipeg. Who will be going? Getting that question answered now. And it's 2:33 on the clock, and that carry from James Butler as that massive body keeps moving. A 6-yard pickup there for BC.
Very good season for James Butler this year back in BC. He had over 200 carries as well, 1,200 yards. Good receiver out of the backfield as well for Nathan Rourke. Like to hit him with those little swing passes and get him out in space.
Such a critical player, too, and his health has been in question in the last couple of weeks with an ankle injury he's been nursing. But looking fine just now. He'd been leading the way in rushing yards through much of the season in the Canadian Football League. Overtaken ultimately by Dedrick Mills. He finished 3rd, 2nd and 4. Lions to 46. Little shovel pass. Completes it to a hurdle. For good measure by Aiden Eberhardt. He doesn't get to touch the ball a lot. It just seems when 19 makes a play, it's a big one, 11 yards.
Well, he leads the league in average yards per catch at almost 20. This won't help that average, but it's a spectacular play anyway to present himself. And how about Nathan Rourke making it up as he goes along?
Add one to the hurdle reel. Little fake to the side. Stepping in, has time. And showed he was going to pass again and then took off. And finally, it's tied up and taken down, but does have more positive yardage. 6 yards there for Nathan Rourke on the ground.
Aiden Eberhardt up and over on Sheldon Arnold. Gets an extra couple of yards there. Pretty athletic play.
Some great form there for Eberhard. Gets the Jake Herslow stamp of approval. It said one more for the hurdle reel. Is it my imagination?
Yeah, it's been a few this year.
We've seen a lot of them. Aiden Eberhard, third year out of Wyoming. And the big play to start the game at Mosaic last week against the Rough Riders as BC was trying to wrap up second place in this home playoff date as Rourke hit him and went all the way for the touchdown, 70 yards. That's Justin Sambu, defensive lineman for Calgary, who's taking a knee and getting some attention. Congratulations to the Montreal Alouettes. Ended up being a lot closer than we thought the way it started. Back came the Bombers to make it interesting, but Davis Alexander still unbeaten as a starter up against a man that has won a whole lot of games. And the East nominee for most outstanding player, Levi Mitchell. Alouettes, Tiger Cats, East final next week in Hamilton.
Bo, Kenny Lawler, Philpott, Alexander.
A big play written all over it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We'll be playing the Rough Riders in the West. There's BC and Keon Hatcher. Hatcher with another big play as he gets it down inside the 35. The CFL's leading receiver getting a pat on the head from right tackle Chris Schlugger. A 14-yard pickup there by Hatcher.
Well, they have Xander Horvath in the backfield here, and he's going to go out, and then Hatcher's going to come in from the left side of the formation. Really nicely designed play here and well executed to pull the middle linebacker and Markel Lee up the field to Nathan Rourke, and then that little underneath pitch to Hatcher.
1st and 10 at the 33 of Calgary. It's a 3-point game. The Lions in scoring position again with Nathan Rourke. Hatcher McInnes out to the left. Rourke's looking that way. More pressure, and they tackle him. He did pick up a little bit, but it's Clarence Hicks coming in, Calgary's sacks leader. It was a 2-yard pickup, not a sack. But Hicks, who has been a menace against BC before and has had a great year, in on that play.
Yeah, he's up at the top of your screen here, and he's going to work one-on-one on Gerald Broxton. He's got to go a long way around, but it's that second effort that catches Nathan Rourke from behind, and Rourke can run. When he takes off, he's got some great speed in the open field. Hicks didn't allow that to even get started.
Another one of the Stampeders, they remade their defense. One of these young guys in their second year. Here's the blitz. Off the fingertips of Hatcher, and the coverage right behind him was Anthony Johnson. Falls incomplete. And we have a third down coming up, and presumably Sean White coming on.
Yeah, you've got everyone coming in the gaps here, including the safety, Divine Scott, who's going to come from depth in that secondary. He's coming down the middle as well. He's picked up by James Butler. There was a hot route to the inside to Keon Hatcher, but they just missed it. Bob Slowick saying, I'm sending the house down here.
Yeah. And now after that play, it is a field goal try coming up for 38 yards. Close to 39 for Sean White.
Money.
2 for 2. Said he missed only 2 field goals all season long, and one of those was beyond 50 yards. 43 seconds on the clock until halftime, and the Lions answer back with Nathan Rourke driving them down, and they have their 6-point lead again, 13-7.
Time for a couple of chunk plays here for Vernon Adams. A couple of chunk plays and at least get into field goal range before the half.
They started their 40 after the field goal. And part of Calgary's mission was, to hang around. Don't let that explosive Lions offense just take off on them. And they're within a score still, under a minute to go till halftime. See what they can do here in that limited amount of time. Adams, and it's caught at midfield and more for Dominic Rhymes. The 2X Lions hook up in a big way late in this first half. First down Calgary into the BC zone after a 28-yard gain.
Best throw of the game for Vernon Adams so far. This is just an inside route against man-to-man, and that's just precision on the throw to fit it in between. Right there, it looked like Josh Woods and TJ Lee.
They were teammates here in Vancouver. Big connection with the 30 and getting up. On the reception was Jalen Philpott, 13 more yards, and yes, indeed, Calgary's very quickly gotten into field goal range.
Well, there's your 2 chunk plays. Now you're in field goal range, but you got time to take a couple of shots and look at the major.
26 seconds still. Adams. Soft toss underneath, and Mills had to take a moment to gather it. Has the catch, but he missed the chance to turn it upfield any further, making sure he secured the ball. He does get 5 more yards.
Timeout, Calgary.
Take the timeout here. Time for 2 or 3 plays. Work for the first down marker. And if Vernon Adams can do that, then he's now around the 15-yard line, 16-yard line, can take a shot to the end zone. If he doesn't like it, make sure you throw it out of bounds and have a chance to match that field goal.
Time for the end zone shot right now.
Yeah, well, you don't even need the end zone shot here. I think you might be able to squeeze 3 plays out of 17 seconds.
Yeah.
So take the 10-yard out, get the first down, and then take a shot.
See what they do here. 2nd and 5 at the BC 24, 17 seconds on the clock until halftime. Adams has time. Running around, though, to his left. Wanted to throw it, couldn't get rid of it, and he gets it down to about the 18. And that could be the first down that you were talking about. 5 yards, 8 seconds left.
I'm going to say, though, he has to have got there, and I'm not sure where they're marking it. Well, they are going to move the chain, so he did get the first to take a shot now.
There's time for the shot. Before settling for a field goal. The 19, Adams to the right, looking. Betts chasing him. Bobbled by Jones, and that's the end of the first half. And they had a timeout in the bag as well. So instead of getting a chance to get 3 points closer, that play just took too long. Wow. Frustration for Dave Dickinson, as they were easily in position to get 3 more points on the board.
Yeah, the idea here is that Vernon Adams got to make the decision that if he doesn't have an open receiver immediately, like right now, if it's not there, throw it away or at least give it to your check down immediately so that you can try for the field goal before the end of the half. By him scrambling around and using up another 2 or 3 seconds, now Tevin Jones doesn't have a chance and they miss an opportunity for points.
Complete the pass, but it doesn't matter. They ran out of time. Instead of getting that field goal that could have made it a 3-point lead at halftime. As it stands, Keon Hatcher and the Lions have the lead. Here's Hatcher now with Farhan.
Keon, you probably don't feel great about how the offense is produced, given what you're used to, but you still have the lead going into halftime.
Yeah, you know, we came out, started out a little slow. Things started to get going. We just got to continue that in the second half.
You also got going on those final 2 drives. What was there that maybe wasn't earlier?
Quarterback just found me, you know. He throw it, I make the play, and we just got to keep it rolling.
Thanks for this. Good luck in the second half. Let's send it back to the panel with Kate.
We got ourselves a 13-7 ball game. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall, and we got to start with the ending of that half. And Glenn broke it down really well. But when it comes to Vernon Adams Jr. and you got a very low-scoring game, you got to make really quick decisions in the moment. And the fact that it is 13-7 and not 13-10 right now, Milt, is perplexing.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of every scoring opportunity. And Vernon Adams, before that last drive, he wasn't playing bad, but he wasn't doing anything special. That last drive, we saw him make some throws. We saw him make some great runs, use his legs, and then he had an opportunity. Worst case scenario, put your team in opportunity to kick a field goal. But this right here, not understanding the clock, not understanding the time. You have to have that clock in your head that goes off. Okay, it's 8 seconds left. When they snap the ball to me, if I don't throw it into the end zone or to a person within 2 seconds, I basically have to throw out of bounds or go down to give my team an opportunity to score. And this could come back and bite you. You know how difficult it is to win a playoff game where you're playing against, especially a player like Nathan Rourke. Points are a premium. Now you took those 3 points possibly off the scoreboard. That could come back and really bite him later on.
Yeah, and you heard Keon Hatcher there talk about what happened. They started to get stuff going later in the half. what they did was they went to quick game because they have not been able to get the... How many receivers have you seen the BC Lions past or down the field with attempts in the first half? I don't think we've seen it at all. And this is an explosive offense. The reason why the interior of that Calgary defense, Hicks led the league in pressure rate. Now, he's an outside guy, but in the first half, and he's been affected, but in the first half, it was Miles Brown and Jalen Hutchins. Every time Nathan dropped back, you saw the inside of that pocket collapsing, and that's why they haven't been able to get the ball down the field and get shots to Hatcher. You saw some crossing routes to McKinnis. You saw the quick game where Nathan threw in tight windows to Hatcher, but the deep shots down the field that this offense is used to getting weren't there because of that interior. Let's give them credit. That Calgary defensive line has been great all year. No flow, but those guys have really stepped up.
They definitely stepped up, and that's one of the reasons why this is a low-scoring game. Guess what? On the other side, the defensive line is playing well, too, and they're getting as well to Vernon Adams Jr. as well. You talk about Jonah Tavai and Bradley Anayo also. They got to Vernon. Vernon hasn't been comfortable throughout the course of this first half right now, and he is trying to stay in rhythm, but he just can't find his guys. He's running up and down the field and can't find them. You got to be concerned about the end of the half again, Milt. You talked about you want to get out and get some points on the board. You got to know situational football, right? Because especially if the BC Lions are able to separate themselves some more, they got a guy on defense in BC that is just going to start to get off of the rock.
Matthew Betts
gets off the rock.
Yep.
When they're up like that, it's just a different type of ball game.
I believe Calgary has the ball in the second half, opening the kickoff. They got to come out and put some points on the board.
Yeah.
You know, they had some momentum possibly going into that half. They got to try to regain it. Vernon Adams, they need to at least, worst case scenario, get a field goal, put some points on the board. If not, and BC gets that first drive and they score, it's going to be second half.
They need to pull the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at this point. Just come out absolutely firing in the second half. With more on this one, let's send it down the hall. It's Paul Appolise.
What's interesting for me is the last couple of weeks, the BC Lions they haven't had some of those games where there's a 20-point lead and they can do whatever they want defensively. So this is a perfect game for them. I wanted to see defensively what they're going to try to do to Vernon Adams and how are they going to stop. You know, Dedrick Mills, 31 yards rushing on 6 carries, 140 yards for VA. But defensively, they're trying to show a bunch of different looks. Let's show you this one. Okay, you got man coverage into the boundary with a high safety. They're playing man coverage. You got to worry about VA's legs. Bell comes around on a little twist right here. So he says, hey, as you start to scramble, you won't see me. Great play there. Here's a different picture. Another pressure. We're going to do a zone blitz, but that leaves Jalen Philpott for this throw on the perimeter. Nice bubble screen on the outside. Great blocking to get it out to Philpott for the first down. Good adjustment by Pat Delmonico. And here goes Coach Benavides. 8 guys coming defensively for the BC Lions saying, hey, listen, we're going to speed your timing up, make this play, knock this ball down. And again, that is the interesting thing as I see. I do like that they've stopped the run. You know, for the Calgary Stampeders, as everyone's talked about the situational football, you know, it's not only VA, it's everybody in that huddle. It's everyone should be screaming, Seiko, Seiko, Seiko. That was kind of my code word. We would say time is more important than yardage. Like we said, throw the ball away as soon as you can so you do get the field goal. But in the second half, be very interesting. Can you get Dedrick Mills going?
Be a very interesting second half and see the adjustments that both these teams make. Meanwhile, coming up after the break, it is...
Straight fire!
From the Eastern semifinal between the Blue Bombers and the Alouettes, third quarter action, Alouettes up by 5. Tyson Philpott has the ball punched out. It's going to be recovered by Winnipeg on the play. Sets up a first and goal for Terry Wilson. The Bombers, who trailed by 19 at the half, now in front. Montreal regained the lead in the fourth, up by 2. Stevie Scott stopped at the 3. But no, Enoch wanted a whistle. He didn't get it. Refuses to go down. Come on now. He fights for the score. Give it to him. Scott's O-line keeping the play alive. Part of a 2-touchdown day for the running back. Alouettes on the verge of making their 3rd straight Eastern final. With 90 seconds to go, now a 6-point game. Scott gets the ball again. Look at that stiff arm. It's a 39-yard run. Owls would eventually put it out of reach with the late field goal. Scott with a career-high 133 rushing yards. Alouettes put an end to the Bombers' hopes of hosting a 6th consecutive Grey Cup appearance. Davis Alexander now 12-0 in the CFL as Montreal takes it 42-33. Your final. So that means that the Montreal Alouettes will travel to Hamilton to take on Bo Levi Mitchell and the Tiger Cats. You can see that next Saturday, November the 8th, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Well, you know what? You love it. It's our new favorite segment because we get to highlight your highlights from around the country. It's something we like to call Straight Fire! All right, let's kick it off with 16-year-old 11th grader Lily Sazelki from Nelson High School in Burlington, Ontario. Sazelski became the first female to score a TD at Nelson and in the Halton region of Ontario in boys tackle football. Takes the screen, runs it in. Straight fire.
Let's go to this juggernaut matchup. Number 1, Lorient versus Western. Number 2, look at this pass. Callum Wither to Jace Atkinson. Look at that catch. Stays in bound. Oh, my goodness. Sorry, Dwayne Ford. Straight fire. 60-13.
Darian Coates Cameron, 11th grader, Episcopal High School in Alexandria, Virginia, son of Dwayne Cameron, director of Canadian Scouting. I bet he gave this a passing grade, guys. This is straight fire.
All right, my man Nash McDonald from the Carleton Ravens. And this has to be a candidate. Look at this one. Unbelievable. Look at this. Look at this. Put it in your pocket. That right there is what?
Still up.
This is a defensive play. Finally, watch this hit right here. Owen Brown.
Get off me.
Fighting Irish Owen Brunel against Garcia Graham. That's straight fire! And it's truck stick.
Can we replay those last 2 highlights? That might be, we saved the best for last. That might have been the best catch and the best hit I've seen on Straight Fire. You guys?
Yes.
All right, guess what? You can still send your plays straight fire at bellmedia.ca because you know what? I mean, I don't know if anything's going to outdo those ones we just saw, but you can try. We got a football game in BC, 13-7. We'll get you back there right after this.
Straight fire.
Halftime at BC Place of the West semifinal, and the Lions lead the Stamps by 6. Now, Nathan Rourke has had some success. He's been pressured a lot by Calgary's defense up front, including Jalen Hutchings standing by with Farhan.
Jalen, you got 2 sacks of Nathan Rourke in that half. You hit him, pressured him repeatedly. What have you found there that you can take advantage of?
Well, it's a team effort, you know. It's not just me. We just got to keep it going and finish this game strong.
The first 2 games you played them, they got out to big leads by halftime. You guys are right in this where you want to be. How different is the mindset in that locker room?
We knew it was going to be tough coming in. We're right where we want to be. So we got to finish this game strong and the rest take care of itself.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Nathan Rourke, 9 for 12, 126. No touchdowns, no picks. But that's something the Stamps have to shake off right now. This is a 6-point game. It should have been a 3-point game.
Yeah, and they'll let that go. Still 1 possession game, which is most important.
Calgary hanging in it. And they have the ball to start the second half with Eric Brooks on the return across the 35. And up to about the 38. With Vernon Adams Jr. coming back on. Look at the quarterback comparison. And Adams 11 for 17, 140 yards passing.
Yeah, more passing yards than the BC Lions, the #1 team in the league in offensive production, averaging well over 400 yards of net offense per game coming in through the regular season. But Vernon Adams, with a little bit of mismanagement of the clock late in that first half, gave up a chance for 3. See if that becomes a factor late in this game.
And the thing is, on that drive, they had moved the ball very well in that final minute of the half. Getting close. Micah Alway in on Vernon Adams, and Alway, the CFL's leading tackler, has a big playoff tackle there for the veteran and former Stampeder.
Is this going to be the matchup? You see William Barnes blocks down, and he doesn't really have a guy when he blocks down. He's going to try and block down here, and Alway comes off the edge, so he's helping. Doesn't see Alway. I'm not saying it was necessarily his responsibility, but he didn't see him. Alway had the clean run at Vernon Adams.
A little 3-on-3 in this playoff game, and it's Micah Alway taking Adams down, and then a quick draw to Dedrick Mills. Defense opens up a bit on that fake, and Mills, a good carry on 2nd and 20 to get 10 of it back, but still a 3rd down coming up here for the Stampeders.
Yeah, when the Lions throw out the back half of the season, look how deep their linebackers and DBs are. This is when you get a chance on 1st down to cause a loss by the offense. Now, those linebackers and DBs are just going to stay way back there, not allow for any deep throws, and then rally up to an underneath throw to Dedrick Mills.
They start the half with a 2-and-out. Their 2nd of this game. Mark Bassett with the punt. Seven McGee charging in. Picks it up at the 27. 46-yard punt. Breaking up to the left. He's found some room. Seven McGee up to the 45. He had the explosive play in the opener of this game on the kickoff return for 55 yards.
Nathan Rourke in that first half completed 75% of his throws, just over 100 yards, 126 yards passing. But, you know, if you're Buck Pierce now, an adjustment will probably be to get him away from the interior of that Calgary defensive line. Try to get him out on the edge, maybe roll to the tackle, or even full roll and get outside.
Completed 4 passes to Keon Hatcher, a couple more to Justin McInnes here starting the 2nd half. And it's a short one. He checks it down to James Butler, who is wrapped up there by the safety Bailey Devine Scott for very limited pickup, just 2 yards.
See, Calgary defensively is bringing Bailey Devine Scott, the safety, down to help out on those 1st down plays, whether they're quick throws or running plays. The Lions, to take advantage of that, could go deep into the middle of the field where that safety usually lines up in Devine Scott. However, they need time to do that, and the interior of the D-line for Calgary is not allowing them that time.
2nd and 8 now. In the Lions zone. Pressure from Hicks. Pushed aside. Rourke takes off. Nathan Rourke can run. Doing it again. Big run. Rourke, who ducks himself inside and heads all the way down deep in the Lions zone. He had a big run for a touchdown in Calgary. A couple weeks later, and a big one. And that one has set up BC in scoring position.
Yeah, and he told us this week, when it comes to him running, he doesn't want to run, and this is a direct quote, "I don't want to run unless I have a reason to run."
44-yard gain. Throwing now inside the 10. And that one, it's Everhart with it, and calling it a catch.
In other words, he wants to make sure, Rod, that if he's going to take off and run like this, there's a reason for it. And the reason for it is the interior of that D-line. They keep getting the push. They're collapsing the pocket. They're forcing them to make that decision. Big run for BC.
1st and goal now. For that one to Everhart.
Goes.
Takes it. Keeps it. Touchdown! Nathan Rourke. Runs his way in for another 6-point BC.
Great fake here to James Butler to force the defense to pay attention. Look at the influence on the defense. Markel Lee goes deep down inside and can't recover. Sean Peterson along with Lee on that, and Rourke takes it around the edge.
So the Lions open up the 2nd half of the touchdown drive, largely due to the running of their star quarterback Nathan Rourke. It's Sean White on for the point after, looking to make it a 13-point lead. Down and through it goes. 4 plays, 64 yards. 2 of those 4 plays, rushes by Rourke. Big one to get him down close. And then this one, 7 yards. After that, to finish it off. Touchdown BC. Lions up 13.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything.
Take a look at that touchdown run and the great fake here to Butler. Watch how it influences Sean Peterson at defensive end. He's going to step down here to a point where he can't redirect. Stop it there. Now he can't redirect. You get a block down the field by Keon Hatcher, and that's where Nathan Rourke says, okay, I can get in the end zone here. Well-executed play. It starts with that play fake.
Nathan Rourke finished 8th in the CFL in rushing this season. He had 564 yards. Now the 7 ahead of him, as you talked about, are all running backs. 10 touchdowns, and they were not short yardage TDs as well for the Lions QB. He has one there in the playoffs. And then a good tackle on special teams, too, and the return by Eric Brooks. So more pressure now on Vernon Adams Jr. and the Calgary Stampeders. Said the touchdown there, not to belabor it, but the 3 taken off the board for Calgary when the clock ran out at the end of the half. That's a 10-point swing and a 20-7 lead.
I think Milt talked about it at halftime when he said, you know, the Calgary Stampeders get the ball first to start the second half. Really need to go down and score to keep putting pressure on the BC Lion offense. And they were 2 and out in that first series, and then BC scored.
Up at the 37 now. Stamps in a bigger hole. 4-man rush. Quickly gets rid of it. Philpott has it. Jalen Philpott turns it up and is very close to a first down. It's Josh Woods, the weak side linebacker, on the tackle. Sticks move. 4th catch Philpott in need of first down.
Yeah, as we saw in the Eastern Final, though, you know, it could be 2-3 scores you can come back from. And that last drive by Calgary to end the first half, that drive, VA was looking at those receivers. He found some guys down the field.
With that catch by Philpott. Up the 47 and a 1st and 10. Handing off now to Philpott. Another carry for him. We saw that in the first half. Coming out of the backfield, takes the ball, and another good pickup. Back-to-back Philpott. First downs, 1 receiving and 1 running.
This defense for the BC Lions, led by Mike Benavides, the middle of the season, July and August, were hemorrhaging yards, almost 500 a game. They'd given up 8 big plays, 9 touchdowns, had only created 2 picks. That all changed around the Ottawa game in late August, and they've been great since.
Stampeders, no touchdowns today. Looking at a response drive now. Back-to-back first downs, handing off to Mills. Inside the Lions 50, a 4-yard pickup, down to around the 47.
The last 3 games of the year, this defense cut 100 yards off their yards allowed per game. Had 8 interceptions in the final 3. And one of the big reasons for that is the addition of TJ Lee back in the lineup. They got their leader back. And when that happened, they haven't lost a game since.
Coincided with his arrival. They lost a game, a heartbreaker, to the Red Blacks in Ottawa back just after Labor Day. And they haven't lost since. And that's one they felt they should have won. So that defense definitely getting better all along. Pressure on Adams. He takes off. Vernon Adams running, using his legs as VA gets that one down, sliding around the Lions 30, and another first down, 17-yard pickup for Adams.
Now, I'm not sure if this play was called or if it was just Vernon Adams, but he was running no matter what here. He just pretended that he looked down the field, and then he took off. He was going to make something happen running the football. Had a nice lane up in the middle and took it.
Talk about Nathan Rourke's running. Vernon Adams, since coming into the CFL in 2016, had a good reputation for the ability to make something happen while running, taking off. Does there, gets another first down to the Lions 30. They're down 13, needing to get something going here. With time, deep end zone, touchdown Stampeders. Not a bad day for the Philpott brothers. Jalen Philpott has a playoff touchdown. And with that, Calgary responds immediately.
Great protection for Vernon Adams. He's looking at lots of time with that play action. and now he's got that post route open with no safety because Jackson Finley had gone to the second seam route. So he had vacated the middle. Philpott went right down that hole, and VA laid it out there for him to go get it.
His second playoff game was in 22, his rookie year, and then he was injured all of 2023. So getting another taste of it now and capping off a 5-play, 73-yard drive. Oh, the Stampeders needed that.
That's big.
Try to take momentum back. And the point after by Paredes, and we're back to a 6-point game. Jalen Philpott. Mentioned Tyson had quite a day in Montreal earlier. Calgary back to within 6.
Nice play call by the Calgary offense here to get that double look. 2 seam routes across the face of Jackson Finley and then one down the seam. Then he's got to make a decision here. Stop it there. That's TJ Leon one-on-one. Now Finley goes to the other seam route, and as soon as he does that, he knows that Vernon Adams knows that he's got Philpott on the crosser. Finley opens up to that wide side seam route, and Philpott crosses his face.
For his first playoff touchdown, Jalen Philpott. Really his drive. He had a catch for 11, a run for 11, and then that touchdown catch to get them back within 6. Big return, Robert Carter Jr. Will anyone touch him? What a response by BC. Back and forth they go. And a return touchdown for the outstanding rookie of the Lions, Robert Carter. 95 yards. Just like that.
Carter's got a whole bunch of speed. I mean, he gets outside here after he weaves his way through the cover team of the Stamps, and look at him go. I mean, nobody is catching him from behind. And by the way, all due respect, I thought Robert Carter should be a finalist for rookie. I mean, all due respect for the guys that are there. Babel in Winnipeg for sure had a good year, but wow. What a season for Robert Carter Jr.
Yeah, and that, as big as that return was, that wasn't his biggest play.
No.
In his rookie year. Well, the game here, BC plays way back in week 8 against Hamilton with that one-handed catch.
Which I've kept, and I'm sure you have too. And every now and then, almost on a weekly basis, go back and look at that play by Robert Carter against Bo Levi Mitchell and the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the regular season and that one-handed interception. But this is just weaving his way and be patient as he goes through the cover team. And then when he gets outside, there is another gear here. There's some top-end full speed that no one is catching him from behind.
Well, it's been a year of great kick returns. Big special teams plays on the return game. We had one in the opening kickoff, and we just had one there. It goes for a touchdown. This is what we're talking about.
This is it. This is it. Watch this. Wow. You got to be kidding me.
Every time I see that.
I mean, it is unbelievable that he gets up there. Look at this. One-hander. The other one doesn't even get involved.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. We've had some amazing plays. Kenny Lawler, Pokey Wilson. Wow. You know, Stanley Berrios had a one-hander back in Calgary, but that is the play of the year to me. And it's not the most important play, though, even as big as it was. This one was for Robert Carter, as he's helped BC open up their lead again on a stunning kickoff return after the Stampeders had worked it down to get back to within a score. Back up to 13 points at 27-14. Eric Brooks, over to you. Return by Brooks will still give VA a good place to start. And I guess for the Stamps, they just got to forget about that and remember that they moved the ball very well the last time they had it.
Absolutely. Put it away. And, you know, when we talked to VA about facing this BC Lions secondary, without us asking about Robert Carter at all, he basically said, I think he's their best cover guy. And when we go straight man-to-man, Robert Carter Jr. is the BC Lions' best cover.
You just said 26 is really good.
26 is great, yeah. Down here at the bottom.
Go after him now. I'm hoping he's maybe a little bit tired.
He's tired, yeah.
Here he is, bottom of the screen to the right. They go on the ground, Diedrich Mills. Calgary Calgary's offense showing some signs of life. As I said, they got to remember that too after a 6-yard pickup and see if they can work it down and get another touchdown and get it back to within score.
But you're right. That's what Vernon Adams has to do right now. Just control what you can control, and you're not on the cover team. So don't worry about that. Control what you can control. You just put together a real nice drive that ended with a Philpott touchdown. Go back to work.
On that touchdown pass, too, and just a little quick fake to Diedrich Mills. It seemed to hold BC's defense for a moment as Adams had time. And a great pass to Philpott for the touchdown. Little play action fake again. Little pump. Running around, getting chased, but still gets rid of the ball. Intercept. No, nearly picked off. Deflected once. It was Ronald Kenton at the last chance at it. DJ Lee in there, and Adams threw it in the direction of a lot of BC Lions. The coverage was good, and fortunate for Calgary that it wasn't turned over.
Well, first of all, Vernon Adams wants to go to the wide field out here on a double move, and he doesn't get it because Robert Carter Jr. plays it well. And this at the other end of the play on just the scramble rules, you're right, Ronald Kent almost had himself an interception. Like friendly fire caused the issue there, but that was a design double move to the wide field, and Carter wasn't having anything to do with it.
So Mark Bassett inside the 35. Finger pointing time, flags everywhere. To 3rd and 3, bear in mind. Will this bring the offense back on the field?
Wow.
A 5-yard penalty would do it for Calgary. Well, this is a good break for the Stampeders. Bassett was back.
Offside. BC number 36.
Wow.
5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Got Jacob Bond in the special team. So, yeah, on the 3rd and 3, that's enough to give Calgary the ball. Move it up.
I'll take a look at the penalty. See if there's... You see just to the left of your screen that early movement into the neutral zone. It's a big one.
Yes, it moves it up. The 52 of Calgary. Still with the football. Running is Jalen Philpott. What a second half he's having. And another carry for him, and another good one down close to another Stampeder first down.
Boy, what a turn of events. Almost an interception. This is where they wanted to go, though, in that deep play. This is Vernon Adams trying to double move out here. Little inside cut, and then down on Robert Carter. He's not biting. So that's why it created the scramble. Ronald Kent almost has the interception. He doesn't get it. Then an offside and a new set of downs for Calgary.
See if the Stampeders
caught up.
Yeah, can take advantage of this break. They're nearly turning it over and having to punt, but a penalty keeps it going inside the BC 50 now. And it's Mills, left side and more! Diedrich Mills, 20, 10, and Mills close to the Lions end zone with his biggest run of the day. Here come the Stampeders. 43-yard gain. Diedrich Mills, a hole open on that left side, and he stormed through it.
Deontay Demery gets the big block, number 60 at left tackle. He's stopping here. He gets that big turn-in block, a kick out on the outside, and watch Diedrich Mills take full advantage of his big guys up front, opening up a gaping hole for him to go, and just the hustle from Deontay Williams saves a touchdown.
He had 48 yards heading into that play. That was 43 yards, just about double the output. Third quarter, Stampeders threatening. Adams back to Mills, and wrapped up right around the 5, falls forward. That's Thibaut Debaye coming in to wrap up Diedrich Mills. Just picks up a couple more yards.
Now Deontay Williams, that hustle to catch Diedrich Mills from behind. This comes down to this play. It's either a major or a field goal. Did the hustle force the field goal? By the way, if you go back to last week's game in Saskatchewan,
This entire team inspired by the play of Nathan Rourke hustling on a play just like that. We'll see if they score here.
Remember the penalty that kept this drive going. It's a 7th play now. 2nd and goal. Adams keeps it. No bets. Rides him and takes him down shy of the end zone. He gets to about the 2. So what do you do now? You are close. You're down 13. Final few minutes of the 3rd quarter. They're going. What a moment coming up here from the BC 2. And a 3rd and goal.
First thing they have to do, the Lions defensively, is to remind each other, make sure you don't line up in the neutral zone.
3rd down. Touchdown or bust for Calgary. Adams out of shotgun. Soft toss to the end zone. Clark Burns. And Calgary has another touchdown. Again, we say it. What a response by the Stampeders.
Illegal contact. BC number 21. That penalty will be declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Great route by Clark Barnes. He's just to the left of your screen. Don't see him just yet, but he's working on the veteran and Gary Peters on a bang route. And all that Vernon Adams has to do is retreat long enough for Barnes to execute this route. He does it to perfection and is wide open.
8 plays, 70 yards. And if you consider the amount of time off the clock, BC's kickoff return for a touchdown, and the long Calgary drive before then, seems like an eternity since we've seen Nathan Rourke, whose last play was a running touchdown for the Lions. A lot has changed. Another Stampeder touchdown with Paredes getting the point after. Adams. Burns. We got a ball game in this Western semifinal at BC Place.
Barnes with a great route. It's a bang route up top. You come inside like it's a post and then back to the out. Gary Peters is the veteran at the corner, and he has to bite hard on this inside route. It's an easier throw. Puts the brakes on, opens up, and you can see the separation. That's just great route running and a play designed for that situation. A 3rd down inside the 5-yard line. Bang route. Get the one-on-one. And what a route by Clark Barnes.
Let's not forget, that capped off a drive that was extended by a critical offside penalty on BC. When Calgary was lining up the punt, here's Seven McGee on the return. The last kickoff return went for a Robert Carter touchdown. That time they happened just beyond the 30. Beautiful day outside. Beautiful game going on inside now. Getting more drama with the Lions having the ball.
England of Surrey, BC, you have just won groceries for a year thanks to Save On Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. Congratulations, Rosa. If there is another kickoff return for a touchdown in this game, you could also win $1 million.
Nice.
Yeah, halfway there. And, hey, we've seen it before, Kate, of course, earlier this season. But Vernon Adams, a moment of peace in the sideline in a turbulent 3rd quarter for both of these teams. I don't know if the Stampeders could stand seeing another kickoff return for a touchdown by the BC Lions. It's a 6-point game. Back to that. Nathan Rourke finally in the offense back. It's been a while since we've seen him. We're late in the 3rd quarter now. Last time they had the ball, it was mostly a Rourke running drive. He had 4 plays, 2 of them Rourke runs, including 1 for a touchdown. He's throwing now. It's out at the line of scrimmage. It is nearly intercepted. Coming in, Bailey Devine Scott. He had a shot at a pick right around the BC 40.
Oh, did he ever? Did he ever? That was tipped up in the air. It looked like a routine sort of get halfway to your first down, but that's tipped at the line of scrimmage. Jalen Hutchings, I believe, gets his hands on it, and that goes right through the hands of Devine Scott. Wow.
What an opportunity for the Stamps. What a break for the Lions that it's a 2nd and 10 for Rourke. 4-man pressure. And he checks it down to Butler. Breaks a tackle. Great move, James Butler. First down and more. Midfield. What a play by Butler. Finally tackled there by Adam Bigham.
Well, it's a play too twofold for Butler. One is he makes a great catch. I mean, this is a hard catch to make coming out of the backfield here. He just swings out. Watch, he one-hands this, pulls it down while making the inside cut. Again, the interior of that Calgary D-line getting there. Collapse in the pocket. Rourke has to go to the check down.
Great move to get around Markel Lee there. So up in midfield. Back to Butler. Right side. Cuts it back. 5, 6, 7 more yards for James Butler. Late here in the third quarter. 35 seconds on the clock and counting.
Well, you're right, Ron. You haven't seen a lot of offense with all that's gone on in the last little while in this quarter. But for Buck Pierce, that's a way to slow that pass rush from the interior of the Calgary D-line, is to run right at them. Make them run stoppers rather than pass rushers.
It was a 6-point Lions lead at the half. It is still a 6-point Lions lead, but been a whole lot happening here in this third quarter, the busiest scoring-wise of this game, and it's about to come to an end. The last play of quarter number 3. Lions football in the Stampeders zone. Rourke, lots of time to pass. Running around, can't find a receiver. They're chasing him down. He finally tosses it away. Out of bounds it goes, and he throws it right to his old teammate, Vernon Adams Jr. Out of bounds. Quarter time. Through 45 minutes of this West Division semifinal. Winner goes to Saskatchewan. BC has the lead. Heading into quarter 4. A 6-point game. Lions by 6 heading into the fourth quarter of this West semifinal. By the way, 10 points scored by BC off big kick returns. That's been a difference. Penalties for both sides making a difference in this game.
Well, yeah, you look at that one BC penalty that led to a Calgary touchdown and a Calgary major, and the same has happened for Calgary. They've done it too in that first half, where they had 2 penalties on a drive that led to a BC major. So the Lions are the worst team in the league when it comes to penalty yards per game that they're taking. So they have to, both of these teams have to be reminded by their head coaches, discipline. Be smart. Don't get one of those penalties after the whistle, because if you do, it may cost us this game, and that means you're going home.
1 month ago, the Stampeders trailed heading to the fourth quarter here at BC Place 31-9, and then the offense ignited. It certainly did in the third quarter. Carl Meyer with the punt. Calgary to get the football. Jalen football. Jalen football. That's kind of appropriate the way he's been playing. Yeah, Jalen Philpott there. Let's go down to the sideline and Farhan.
Yeah, some might call TJ Lee TJ football with his latest comeback. And, you know, he said his faith never wavered when nobody was calling him for the first half of the season. And he also said he trained, but not like a football player does, obsessively. He spent time moving back to the U.S. and working as a coach for track and field and football at the middle school level. And they taught him something. Not only did he teach them how to play, they taught him how to do a backflip, something kids love to do. He said, this was something I could never do earlier in my career. And it shows me that even at this stage, I've still got peak physical performance. We asked Vernon Adams, what's the biggest change in BC's defense the last 6 weeks? He told us the return of TJ Lee.
What a difference, Farhan. He has certainly made. Still a great athlete, too, and leader. It's Dietrich Mills, just shy of the 20.
Well, and Vernon Adams would know. I mean, a former teammate, so he knows his work ethic and leadership styles. Just a 2-time all-star in the Canadian Football League, but sometimes it's that one catalyst, that one guy. For the Calgary Stampeders, I think it's been Derek Moncrief. That he's been there all year, but he's been their catalyst. Vernon Adams sure has respect for TJ Lee. Let's see if he goes after him here.
They had some great possessions in the third quarter. They need another one now. It's a 2nd and 8. Adams with time. It's caught. Barnes. More noticeable in this second half. Clark Barnes had their most recent touchdown and very close to a first down. A 7-yard pickup. It'll be close.
Well, this is earned completions from Vernon Adams for sure, because that's the danger area. You throw it over there, you see arms flying around and hands waving at the ball. There's linebackers in there. That's Ben Holatic that ends up making the tackle. Calgary will go short yardage here.
3rd down and a yard. Quincy Vaughn is in at quarterback. Crowd picks up. Vaughn keeping first down and more. Big Quincy Vaughn. Quite reliable in those situations, pushing it across the 35, sticks move. 5-yard pickup when they only needed one, and Adams is back on the field.
So what does Mike Benavides have for Vernon Adams? Because he is in a groove over those last 2 series, especially the penalty-aided drive where he started making those plays that capped off with the touchdown to Clark Barnes. Send some more pressure, you leave your back end and your DBs in one-on-ones.
Up across the 35, 6-point difference. Calgary trailing, but with the ball. Faking to Philpott, and then rolling to the right, and it is caught up near midfield. A flag is out, and it looked like a hold was taking place near Adams on Matthew Betts.
Holding. Calgary number 19. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's Quincy Vaughn. We saw him in short yardage before, but yeah, kind of wrapped up Betts there.
Yeah, occasionally Quincy Vaughn will stay out and he'll be like a tight end. And you see him just climb on the back of Matthew Betts. Betts knew it immediately. Discipline, discipline, discipline.
Yeah. And all smiles, of course, when he sees that flag come out. But you're right.
Well,
pushes him back.
But Quincy Vaughn there made a choice. He made a decision to do that.
And the result is a 1st and 20 on that holding call against Vaughn. Back to the 26. Adams completes it. Just shy of the 40. TJ Lee coming in with a hit on his old teammate Dominic Rhymes. Not nearly enough.
Great patience going through the progressions for Vernon Adams here. Takes a look to the wide side, doesn't like it, goes back to the short side, doesn't like it, right back over the middle to Dom Rhymes on that crossing route.
But they still have another down here. It's 2nd down coming up for a good pickup after that holding penalty.
Dedrick Mills can be part of it now, though. 2nd and medium.
2nd and 7, you see. A draw. Mills.
Yep.
Pushing his way through. He had a hole, and he does some work as well. A 1st down running for Mills and the Calgary Stampeders up to their 50.
See, this is what I mean. When you can make up on that throw to Dom Rhymes on 1st and 20, and you can make up 15 of them. Now you can get your running back involved on 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7. And Dedrick Mills can pick up the 1st.
This Calgary offense has been much better in the 2nd half. Adams to the right. Quickly for Rhymes. He catches it. Kent tackles him. But it'll be a 2nd and short coming up. They get into the BC zone.
Went with a little more pressure there, and that left the one-on-one here for Rhymes and Kent. And Kent took it. He looked like he might try to undercut this. He looked like he was going to take the undercut route and go for the football, then changed his mind. Put it right out there in front of Rhymes, so only he had a shot at it.
Call it a gain of 7 and a 2nd and 3. Stampeders, different team offensively in the 2nd half. Adams has time. Deep shot. Open in the middle and caught by Burns. The soft hands of Clark Burns brings it in, and here comes Calgary again after a 41-yard pickup.
No safety in the middle, deep post right to that middle. And when you take a look at the pressure, it's straight man-to-man. Jackson Finley has a man in the coverage, so he takes that underneath route. And there is no safety back there. When you see Finley come down low, he's going to take one of the receivers out of the right side of the formation. It's Brooks. No safety in the middle, and Vernon Adams says, no, I'll take that.
A couple of their young Canadian receivers, Philpott and Burns, each with 73 yards receiving and a touchdown. Here we go. Faking, and then off to Philpott. He has the catch. He cuts it back inside the 10. Jalen Philpott doing a lot of work to get it down to the 7.
Big game. He saw his brother's game, I'm sure, or at least heard about it, probably on his phone. Took a look. Tyson had a big one from Montreal. So I got to contribute.
Tyson earlier at 10 catches, 135 yards, 1 touchdown receiving. He had 1 rushing as well. That was earlier today in the Owls' victory over Winnipeg. They're off to the Eastern Final in Hamilton, but Jalen trying to get to a division final 2. Here's the 10th play. Adams, end zone, touchdown! No, dropped, and a flag comes down. Looking for Damian Alford, looked like he had it. And the ball ends up hitting the turf, and you see the flag quickly coming out, and Dave Dickinson.
Yeah, that's going to put it on the 1-yard line.
Pass interference. BC number 1. Foul occurred in the end zone. Ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
Gary Peters is saying that Damon Alford pushed him, and that's why he came with the little grab right at the top. So it's press coverage, hand fighting, little pull, little. Well, I would look at that and say Gary Peters, although the veteran, he asked Buck to challenge that.
They play on. Quincy Vaughn in, 11th play of the drive. First and goal. Vaughn pushing it in. And that is another Calgary touchdown. A fired up VA coming on the field after they finished off that drive. And they're a point after from taking the lead in this game.
Yeah, again, good push here. Quincy Vaughn's going to follow him into the end zone right behind his center, and Chris Fortin goes off that left side, and he's in. But you go back to that PI, and Gary Peters, I think, was just hanging on a little too long. So the right call was made to put it on the 1-yard line.
With a touchdown run to cap it off by Vaughn, who had 6 rushing TDs in the regular season. The point after try. Rene Paredes
gave one back.
We still have a tie game. Paredes almost always money, especially in the point after. He missed only 2 in the regular season, but misses that one. Clanks the right upright. As it stands, though, Calgary touchdown. Tie ball game. 4th quarter. What a finish we have in store here at BC Place as the Stampeders just keep storming back. Robert Carter Jr. had a kickoff return for a touchdown in this half. Nathan Rourke, the 3 completions this half. We just haven't seen him as much. The rushing touchdown. It was after an 11-play drive. 7 McGee has it for BC. We're tied at 27. McGee called down right at the 30. And the reason why we're tied is this. After the Calgary touchdown, usually absolute money, Rene Paredes clanks it off the right upright, and it does not go through. 27. The 2 head coaches are rivals today, but they were teammates. Let's go back 20 years ago. Buck Pierce joining the Lions, and they won a Grey Cup together back in 2006.
Well, Dave Dickinson was the Grey Cup MVP that year, and Buck Pierce certainly contributed with a 5-1 record when he was asked to come in. And we talked to Buck about this relationship, and he said, you know, we're not guys that talk on the phone every day, but boy, that respect is there as of what he learned from Dave Dickinson.
Here's James Butler, BC football, going left side. Breaks a couple of tackles, and he's back. 7-yard pickup. And how about this for great quarterback play? You got Dickinson, you got Pearson. Look at that guy in the middle, Doug Flutie, talking to them in Winnipeg before the 06 Grey Cup.
Yeah, just great relationship. And he said, yeah, you know, my success is largely due to what I learned from Dave Dickinson, and more in just how he carried himself, how he worked, how he prepared. One veteran coach, one rookie head coach.
And only one can win today. It's still very much up for grabs as they've come back. And that was a 2nd down and short, but no, not a 1st down. Only got a yard.
Well, and this is, they just put the pressure on the young guy, the young head coach in Buck Pierce. What's your choice here? He's gonna punt it away, and you know, I like the decision. There's tons of time left.
Well, fans fans don't like it, but fans aren't the coach, and it's 2 yards. You're right, it's a long one. And
in your own end.
Yeah, in their own end, right inside their 40-yard line. But the momentum offensively lately has been Adams and the Calgary Stampeders. 3 touchdown drives in this second half. There's Carl Meyer. And a good punt by Meyer. Aaron Brooks.
Wow.
Lets it take a hop at the 10 and then picks it up inside the 10-yard line. A 65-yard punt. And timely, too, for Carl Meyer to force Adams and the Stampeders and Dedrick Mills to set up deep in their zone. Productive season. Productive game as well for Dedrick Mills. Playoff game that features the league's leading rusher and the league's leading tackler, Dedrick Mills, Micah Alway, and they were once teammates in Calgary. Talked to Micah Alway a lot about Dedrick Mills and got to know him a bit and knows how much that rushing title would mean to him. Playoff win would mean even more. 109 yards. Dedrick Mills and has the ball. And Mike Alway among the Lions in the pack for a while there as he's tackled just shy of the Calgary 15.
Getting good chunks, though, even on those plays where it's almost a standoff between the two guys, and Mike Alway and Mills. The help of the O-line, they just keep pushing to get 3, 4, 5. Now, because it's a passing down, Alway will take a break.
He's off up to 111 yards in this game is Dedrick Mills. And a big second down, I should think, especially suits for the Lions defense that has seen this Calgary offense driving up and down the field here in the second half. Tying this game at 27, 5 minutes and counting in the clock. Pump fake and a second down and 8. Adams has time, and it's caught at a first down. Dominic Rhymes, the veteran Calgary receiver, with a big catch there to move the sticks, getting them some space up around their 30.
Yeah, Dominic Rhymes has a lot of time in that slot back position to work his route, double move there, a couple of moves and shakes to get back inside. Still pretty well covered, but watch how long Vernon Adams has to throw this football. 1 steamboat, 2 steamboat, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. Lots of time over the middle. What they did was spy with Matthew Betts. Didn't rush the best pass, one of the best pass rushers in the league that time.
4 catches now, over 60 yards receiving for Dominic Rhymes, and it's back. And the catch there for Mills, little stiff arm up near the 40. And then Gary Peters, and a late flag comes out after Mills is pushed out of bounds.
He's going to add some yards to it. Gary Peters in the last couple of weeks of the regular season was...
Major foul, face mask. BC number 1, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It was a game-time decision for a couple of the games, missed a couple of games, including last week versus Saskatchewan. Week 12 as well. He's been dealing with some injuries, a couple of penalties on the veteran.
Right with the penalty, gets it up near midfield, 54-yard line, Calgary. Started deep in their zone. Stampeders moving it again.
Oh.
Ball comes out on the snap. Adams gets it back, but he loses yardage. Betts is all over him to pick up a playoff sack after that ball got away from Vernon Adams.
He's just coming off the edge and just waiting to read this play. A quick redirect to go into the middle in case they handed it off there to Choquette, but that ball hit the turf and VA was lucky just to recover it.
So more of a gift for Matthew Betts under the circumstances. It is his first sack in this game for the CFL sack leader. And a second down and 16 after that. Swinging it on Derek Brooks. Turns it upfield, midfield, and down close to the 50. Still well shy of a first down for the Stampeders. So
but is it,
loss there really hurt them.
It sure did, but is it field goal range? Is this one that Dave Dickinson might be seeing if he can stretch that leg of Rennie Paredes? He took a long look at it.
Well, his longest in the
BC.
His longest in the season is 53. He's 2 for 5, 50 plus.
Yeah, I think it's a little out of range.
Yeah, curl on 57. I think it'd be too much. Let's see what they decide to do. Looking for Mark Bassett coming on. And they are indeed going to punt it away and see with Bassett, who leads the CFL in net punting yardage, a more important stat.
Well, the team nominee,
place him deep.
Rod, the team nominee, you know, for Special Teams Player of the Year for Calgary. Not often you see a punter get that nomination.
And hasn't played the entire season, too. They had, remember, Fraser Mazin as well is starting the season.
All about direction and placement here.
Here we go for Bassett.
Great punt.
And it right down. Yeah, nowhere to go for Seven McGee. Can't get his hand on the ball there. Right down at the 5. A 46-yard punt, more importantly. Beautifully placed. And Nathan Rourke, whose yardage we're not used to seeing, especially lately. 12 for 17, but only 163 yards passing. No touchdowns, no picks. He does have the rushing touchdown. Had that one drive where he ran very well.
And one of the BC Lions are down after that punt.
And that is Seven McGee, the punt returner.
He may have caught a cramp in his calf.
Yep. Never got his hands on the ball that time around.
Well, you know, I don't think it's changed. If you're the BC offense or Buck Pierce calling these plays, and what Nathan Rourke's got to do, he's got a long way to go. And he's got 3 minutes to get there, which is a long time in Canadian football. But he's going to have to get Nathan Rourke away from the interior of that Calgary defensive line. And they've just been dominant in the middle of that D-line. Whether they're trying to run at it or throw the football, the D-line in the interior with Miles Brown, Jalen Hutchings are just collapsing that pocket on Rourke, and he doesn't have those open passing lanes.
Well, the Whitecaps, well, this is their home too, but on the road in that playoff game. And Seven McGee heading off. And so for Bob Slowick and Jalen Hutchings and that Calgary defense, another test now. And as you talked about, they've done an excellent job. Look at the difference in yards offense between these two teams. Last play before the 3-minute warning. The fake, the throw, and it is caught right down around the 15-yard line. Adrian Green all over Justin McInnes, who picks it up and gets a first down.
Yeah, you cannot cover this any better, and they still completed this throw.
Nathan Rourke looking to get something going. It's crunch time now in a tie ball game. Lions football. About that championship they once won together. I don't think that matters right now.
No.
They're standing in each other's way. One of them is going to head off, one of these head coaches, to the West Final next week. And as for who, it is so close. Tie ball game. Under 3 minutes. Great drama here at BC Place.
Well, so far, Dave Dickens has got to be real proud of his defense. They've played great this afternoon.
Really limiting Nathan Rourke. 4-man rush again. Rourke and completes this one just outside the 20. That is caught by Javon Catoy. Sets up second down after a 6-yard gain.
That includes their DBs. I mean, you mentioned that off the top with Sheldon Arnold, Anthony Johnson coming back off the injured list and making it tough and for Nathan Rourke to throw around the rush and be deadly accurate or else get in trouble. Quite the effort from this Calgary defense. Do they have another stop in them?
That was the first catch for Javon Catoy in this playoff game. 2nd and 3. The BC 22. Rourke getting him again. He's trying to escape, but he can't. And it's Hutchings again. And Miles Brown that time, excuse me. Finishing things off. As you're right, that Stampeder front line has really managed to get a lot of pressure on Nathan Rourke today.
This is the pressure on the interior of the line, and Rourke from the pocket is, as they collapse it, you see Miles Brown getting that great push right down Main Street. He's the first guy he tries to elude, and he can't beat all 4 of them.
Back in the first half, Brown and Hutchings teamed up on Rourke. Brown got the sack there, gets another one. But what a force inside for Calgary, and because of it, BC has to punt. Calgary's going to get the ball under 2 minutes to go in a tie ball game. 62-yard punt. Here's Brooks. Oh, ball's out! BC has it!
Oh, my.
Biggest play of the game on the turnover. As the Lions take over, Kieran Poison on special teams saw an opportunity and pounced on the mistake, the fumble by Eric Brooks, that has immediately turned the tide of this game.
Brooks has to gather this up and retreat to get it. Let's see who pulls it out of there. Looked like he just dropped it actually before contact.
Right there, a little bit of a open field tackle. Adam O'Clair.
We saw Josh Haggerty come in 27, and Adam O'Clair as well, converging. Let's see if it was the left arm of Haggerty that actually punched it loose, but whatever. BC ball, another chance for Rourke and Butler. And the tackle by Derek Moncrief to...
That is the first turnover.
That's you. Mom, Dad, Ella, everyone back home. I love it all, guys. That's for you guys.
First turnover of this game. And the Lions get the ball in field goal position at the very least. What a play by Moncrief on first down, though, to put Nathan Rourke in second and long.
No gain at all, Butler, but Eric Brooks has been stellar for Calgary as a receiver and a specialist on the returns. And Diedrich Mills having a word with him. Just one turnover in this game, and that was it. And how important is it looming right now? A 2nd and 10 at the Calgary 32. And it's incomplete. Anthony Johnson. Keon Hatcher wants a flag. No flag out. Johnson, his first year with the Stampeders, and a big defensive play here.
Well, let's see if there was some interference. Keon Hatcher was not happy with the play of Anthony Johnson here. He thought he got grabbed. I think the crowd's starting to buzz as if they want Buck Pierce to challenge this, and he may have.
See a little tug of the jersey before the turn of the route.
BC is challenging
There you go.
for pass interference. The replay center will review the play.
When all this started and the coaches' challenges, this was the thought that in games like this, down to the wire, close games, that's when you want to be able to challenge, take another look, make sure you get all the angles, and see if it was or wasn't pass interference. Not our call. The replay center will take care of that.
Replay center having a look. Keon Hatcher incensed as that play came to an end with the way Anthony Johnson was defending him.
Within 5 yards, you're allowed contact, so a little bit of contact early is okay. I'm wondering about the breakout here, and the jersey sort of separates after the fact, and the ball has been tipped. Then they go down together. That's okay.
I was going to say, do you think there was interference there?
Well, this is up to the replay center. To be honest, it was
very close.
Very close.
They took a look.
Pull, but I don't know.
Big decision coming up here now.
The replay center, the ruling on the field stands. BC will be charged with timeout. 3rd down.
Nathan Rourke's furious. Keon Hatcher is. The fans are.
Well, I think he didn't want Keon Hatcher to be as animated as he was about asking his head coach to challenge that play. And I think that was the reaction from Nathan Rourke, because it was Keon Hatcher who basically talked his coach into challenging.
So instead, it'll be a field goal try just inside the 40 for Sean White, who's been perfect on the day, 2 for 2 from 40 and 39. This to give BC the lead again. Down and through. 30-27, just over a minute to go, which has been proven to be an eternity in games like this. Certainly the Stampeders would have a chance to at least tie the game again.
Yeah, and for the record, I don't think it was a bad challenge, to be honest. There was some contact. There was a little grab of the jersey. We've seen that be called before. Anthony played it well, so now we get Vernon Adams a chance. This is his. This is how you dream about it. Coming back to your old team. You got a minute and 7 seconds on the clock, a chance to drive it down, score a major, and win the game.
How about the job of the Calgary defense after that massive turnover?
Yeah, exactly. Get the sudden change, hold the Lions to just a field goal. That is a big win and gives VA a chance to drive the field here and at least take it to extra.
And a quick 2-and-out, basically, for the field goal try. You talked about the Moncrief tackle on Butler.
That was big.
And then Anthony Johnson, not flagged for it. Ludwig Choquette in on special teams. The tandem of returners back there with Kalen Horton. Or excuse me, with Brooks, Eric Brooks, who had the fumble the last time on the punt return. 1:07 on the clock. Carl Meyer with the kick. Down to Brooks again. 25, 30, 35 spins. And his tackle. Let's go down to Farhan.
Guys, after that last Eric Brooks fumble, the first person out to him was Vernon Adams. He told him, don't worry, I've got your back. It's part of the leadership that VA wants to show. He wants to empower everybody. He's got a chance to do that here. Meanwhile, some tension on the Lions sideline. Their defense has been on the field a long time in this second half. Let's see if they can hold up here.
That's a great point, Farhan. And the way Calgary has been moving this football in the second half, they have reason to keep their confidence. 1:01 on the clock. And a good place to start, up at the 37, just down a field goal. Crowd picking up here at BC Place. 4 receivers to the right. Adams with time, he looks to the left, looking deep, and Gary Peters is there on Tevin Jones. That falls incomplete.
Boy, Nate Dickinson was not happy either with the decision or the throw or the route or something, but he was pretty animated himself on the sideline. Gary Peters played off and didn't let Tevin Jones get down the field. He had that one tracked.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are watching, waiting to find out who their opponent will be at Mosaic in the Western Final next week. And as it stands right now, could be either team. 2nd and 10, 55 seconds on the clock. Another 4-man rush. Adams takes a deep shot down the middle for Philpott. He is hit as he caught it. Oh my goodness. How did he hang on to that? Jalen Philpott with the biggest catch for the Calgary Stampeders today.
In coverage, taking a hit, pocket collapsing, and hangs on to the football. What a catch. Maybe the best of his career so far. That's a big hit.
For 42 yards, Philpott. Here come the Stamps. VA with time. Takes a shot to the end zone for Rhymes, and that's too far. Jackson Findlay with them. And they were working quickly after that incredible catch by Jalen Philpott.
Now Vernon Adams is in field goal range to tie this game and take it into overtime. And no, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to play for the major. He wants to play for the win. I got that. But he also has to be smart with the football here.
And even though it's 39 seconds, start keeping an eye on that clock as well. Given what happened at the end of the first half. They were denied a field goal. Loading up again. Into the end zone, but no. Looking for Jones again. So 2 deep shots.
See that?
After the catch by Philpott.
That was a risky throw from Vernon Adams to make this decision on the go route with Ronald Kent in his zone look, playing deep in the outside third. Look at, he is tracking the ball and has the best chance at possibly intercepting that, and that is game over. Now Calgary gets a chance to tie it.
Well, another question about clock management with those deep shots is BC's going to have some time on the clock coming back. 33 seconds. Doesn't sound like much, but if Paredes ties it here, kick and good it is. We get a tie game again, but we've seen teams drive down in less than 29 seconds and pick up a walk-off field goal, and that's what Buck Pierce is hoping his Lions can do now.
Well, and it starts with the special teams.
Go get him right now. Hey, Green, go get him. I got you.
VA he's still coaching them up and staying vocal. But you're right. Nathan Rourke has time. He has time for probably 4, maybe 5 plays if he's efficient.
But to emphasize again the job Calgary's defense has done, and they'll be called upon again now with BC needing to drive into field goal position.
And no timeout.
And no timeout.
Because of that challenge that they lost. And I think that's what Nathan Rourke was so animated about. He was, so when we challenged that one, which was so close,
lose a timeout.
You lose the timeout if you don't win it, and we may need that timeout. And they certainly do. See what Seven McGee or Robert Carter can do in this return to set up maybe 1 or 2 chunk plays from Nathan Rourke if he can get it done.
Each has had a huge return in this game. McGee off the opening kickoff. Carter, the return for the touchdown. It's in Carter's hands now. And he can't get through this time. Good coverage. Down at the 25 for Nathan Rourke. 23 seconds. And Sean White, his career long is 55 yards. That was a while ago. Doesn't have anything 50-plus this season.
You know, if you're talking about the efficient passing game, you probably have 4 plays in 23 seconds.
And White's longest this season was 49.
But if that interior of that defensive line forces Rourke to run around, remember what happened to Vernon Adams at the end of the first half. He started scrambling around and lost those valuable 4 or 5 seconds that they needed for that field goal. And that field goal does kind of loom large right now for Calgary. But we'll see what Rourke has. He just hasn't had much time to throw the football because of that pass rush.
Did wonder at the end of the half, to your point, will Calgary pay for that mistake with the clock when they should have had with 8 seconds to go?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's well, as long as they're still playing, it's still anybody's game. So
they also did miss a point after try earlier on. So there's 1 point. What a finish. My goodness. Winner goes to Saskatchewan. Still very much to be determined. BC football at their own 26. Seven McGee.
Another cramp.
Cramping up again. And what a second half by that man, Vernon Adams Jr. And just all game by this Calgary defense called upon again. You know, for everything Nathan Rourke has done, which is so considerable this season.
Tab is good.
Limited to 180 yards passing on 14 of 20. 23 seconds.
Needs about 40 yards
to get into the Sean White range. First and 10. Handing off. James Butler. So they do a running play. And they get it around the 30. 19. Are they thinking OT?
Yeah. I mean, that could be the only thought. Run the ball on first down. Thinking OT, but
see here, 4-man rush. Rourke wide open. Caught Stanley Berryhill. Good pickup. 9 seconds to go. They're still in their own zone.
They were about 15, 20-yard out or dig route over the middle, depending on what coverage they face. Put Sean White in range.
Realistically, about the 45 you think they'd have to get to, at least, of Calgary. Rourke again. It's caught. It's McInnes. 3 seconds on the clock. And they've got it close enough for Sean White.
And he was covered. Grant was over the top. He opens up, and it's just over the outstretched hands of Lee. And Dave Dickinson can't believe it.
Down to the 36. Be about a 43-yard try for veteran Sean White, who has missed only 2 field goals all season long. Highest completion percentage in field goals of any kicker this year. For the win. protected Vernon Adams Jr. so close. Such an admirable second half, especially, to get them back into this game. And you will have to wonder, as the Stampeders think of what might have been about clock management in this game, and gave BC enough time to come back, and a remarkable finish for the Lions.
Yeah, true. But I will say this about the Calgary Stampeders and their season and this game. I mean, this game, to hold the #1 offense in the league, this offense for BC is putting up close to 500 yards net per game in the regular season. This Calgary defense gave them all they can handle. Philpott with his big plays. VA got them back to tie this game. So those decisions aside, this is the way it ends after Kick Canada hits a deep one to Justin McInnes. Sean White is money. 28-yard catch by McInnes sets up the Sean White field goal. Takes them to Regina and the West Final.
And oh, what a feeling for Buck Pierce when they had a lead at one point of 13 points. But Calgary came back, made it so interesting. Let's go down to Farhan now.
Let's start with the kick. You've made some big ones in your career. Where does that rank?
Oh, that's up there, man. It's got to be #1 right now. Especially to do it with my hometown. It was packed tonight. The fans showed up and we showed up.
Different type of second half. Calgary had all the momentum, but when you get the ball back with a couple of seconds left, do you feel like Nathan's going to put you in position?
I was just going to say that. We're on a special team right now. We can score at any point in this game and anywhere on the field. I was staying ready since 9 minutes left. So I knew they would give us an opportunity to win.
Thanks for this, Sean. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Nathan Rourke savoring this moment, I'm sure. 16-22, 223. But as you talked about, a big part of this story, too, not only Vernon Adams, but Calgary's defense and how they kept the Stampeders in this game.
Yeah. Just an outstanding effort and an excellent season, a successful season, even though their season is over.
The Stampeders bounced back after missing the playoffs last year and nearly booked their ticket to the Western Final. Instead, it'll be Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions heading off to Saskatchewan to take on the Rough Riders next Saturday in the Western Final for the right to go to Grey Cup 112. The Alouettes won earlier. They'll go to Hamilton. The Lions, by the skin of their teeth and a Sean White walk-off, take it here at BC Place. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. The CFL playoffs continue.